Hello, and welcome to day 2 of the Fiber Bootcamp. Today, for the second day, you will need these items. Number 1, you may need your template. If not, you can certainly store it in your folder. You will definitely need your fabric that you cut out from last time. You will need a needle, a bundle of yarn, a piece of tape, and a Sharpie. The first thing that you're going to want to do is get your piece of fabric and fold it in half where the dotted line should be on your piece of fabric. So if you need to line it up just to get it the way it's supposed to be, and then fold it in half so both of the edges should match, just like that. Once your piece has been folded in half, use your Sharpie, and you're going to make a dotted line going around the outside of your fabric. You will want to space this about 1 finger width in from the edge. You do not need to do it for the folded edge, just the outside parts. So let's start down here. These dots do not need to be super dark. And I also like to space them about 1 finger width apart. So 1 finger width in, 1 finger width apart. Okie doke. Now that I'm done with my dotted lines, it's time to start sewing. So you will need your needle, you'll need your thread, and you'll need your piece of tape. The tape is going to help us thread our needle. So here's what I like to do. I get my yarn, stick it right in the middle of my piece of tape. Fold over the edges, and it creates almost like a flag, okay? Once I have that flag, take my needle, and I'm going to stick the flag through the hole, just like that. And there we go. Threaded my needle. This will fall off, so I'm going to be extra certain that it stays on by tying a knot. Here's how I'm going to tie my knot. I'm going to wrap it around my finger, flag on one side, needle on the other. I'm going to take my flag, slide it underneath of the loop, through the loop. I'm going to pull it tight. There we go. I don't need the flag anymore, so I can either rip that off, or if it doesn't want to rip off, you can certainly grab a pair of scissors and cut it off. All right, now that I've threaded my needle and it's on there securely, it's time to start sewing. Start at one end. It doesn't really matter which end you start at. You're going to poke your needle through the dot and out the other side. You're going to pull that thread until you have a little tail left over. You only need to do that for your first, stitch. Okay? After you sew your first stitch, you're going to come back on top. You're going to stick your needle through the next hole, just like you did before. Pull it back the other side. And this time, you're going to pull it tight. It's going to wrap around the outside of your fabric, just like that. Don't need to pull too tight, just tight enough that it's going to stick together. All right, let's do that again. Do it a little slower this time. Needle through the dot, out the other side, pull your yarn through tightly enough that it wraps around. There we go. Okay, we're going to do that pretty much all the way around. For today, if you get to, let's say, about 3/4 of the way, so if I do this side, I can leave this side open for today. That way, on day 3, we're going to be able to start stuffing this with some stuffing, and then we're going to be able to start adding some details after that. So I'm going to do this a little bit quicker now, just so you can see what it'll eventually look like. Through the top, yank it through, to the other side. Let's do about 3 more. Through the dot, out the other side, pull it tight. Okay, let's do 1 more. Through the dot, out the other side, pull it tight. If If you run out of time today, or if you get finished with about 3/4 of the way around, you can try to pick your knot and get that needle out, or you can just grab a pair of scissors and cut your needle off. Either way, this needs to go back to the fiber center. This can all go in your portfolio. Don't lose this. You will need it starting next week. However, today, this is the last step. Should you need any help, feel free to raise your hand and I'll be around.